South Africa's economy contracted marginally in the first quarter of this year, following slight growth in the last 3 months of 2023. Agriculture was the only sector that bucked the trend. Business reporter Ntokozo Khumalo tells us more.
Load shedding continued to weigh on several industries of the South African economy in the first 3 months of the year. According to Statistics South Africa, the economy contracted by 0.1%, with 6 industries failing to register growth. Meanwhile, agriculture rose by 13.5%, thanks to increased economic activity in the sector.
The biggest driver was manufacturing, where we see that manufacturing contributed 0.4 of a percentage point in the negative to that negative growth. And its growth was also in the negative 1.4%. But we also see that your mining and construction have gone in the negative.
Spending in the economy also fell over the period, with expenditure on real gross domestic products falling by 0.2% in the first quarter of 2024, following an increase of 0.3% in the fourth quarter of last year. Households also cut back on spending on clothing, footwear and transport over the period. On the trade front, exports and imports also declined over the period. Total gross fixed capital formation fell by 1.8% in the first 3 months as investors played a wait-and-see game ahead of the general elections, a move that was felt in the construction industry. The construction industry was forecast to hit the ground running in 2024, but according to Statistics South Africa, the industry saw a 3.1% contraction in the first 3 months of the year. According to one business owner who exhibited at this year's Big 5 Construct South Africa Conference and Expo in Midrand, small businesses are the hardest hit.
We're a small business, we're not getting that chunk which they're supposed to be getting. And now the saddest part is that most of the families that we do have, which were on our part, now they're sitting at home, they don't have work.
He says the construction industry is optimistic the new government will prioritize infrastructure projects to drive growth and open up the project pipeline for small businesses.
Let us be quite frank and honest. The infrastructure is falling apart. You need these businesses. You need SMMEs. SMMEs are the ones that are creating jobs. Because if you look at the last quarter, 28,000 jobs which have been created by the SMMEs.
The president of the National African Federation for the Building Industry agrees, highlighting that aside from government project pipelines drying up, other headwinds faced by the industry include the energy crisis that manifested itself over the first quarter. The elections also put a spanner in the works for investors as they paused making major decisions ahead of the polls.
People were hesitant to make decisions and long-lasting decisions, even decisions relating to infrastructure.
He adds that the industry is vital in reviving the economy and creating jobs.
Jobs can only be created on the back of a growing economy. The infrastructure space provides a potential of creating those massive jobs. So we are hopeful that any government that takes power from now on in whatever form or shape will be able to prioritize infrastructure for job creation.
The Big 5 Construct South Africa Expo hosted about 200 exhibitors from around the world, about 2/3 of which were South African businesses seeking partnerships for growth. For Newzroom Afrika on Channel 405, I'm Ntokozo Khumalo in Johannesburg.